The day Earth changed forever started like any other. People went about their lives, unaware of the horror that was about to unfold. In New York, London, Tokyo, and cities across the globe, parents dropped their children off at schools and daycares. They kissed their little ones goodbye, never imagining it might be for the last time. High above the planet, hidden from human eyes, the Galactic Council's ships moved into position. These aliens had watched Earth for centuries, seeing humans as primitive and violent. Today, they decided to teach humanity a lesson it would never forget. At precisely 10 o'clock a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, the attack began. Beams of light, too fast for the human eye to see, shot down from the sky. They targeted schools, playgrounds, and anywhere children gathered. In an instant, millions of young lives vanished. Sarah Johnson, a teacher in London, watched in horror as her entire class disappeared before her eyes. They were just gone, she would later tell reporters, her voice shaking. One moment they were there, the next, empty desks. Similar scenes played out across the world. Parents rushed to schools, only to find empty buildings. Panic spread like wildfire. News channels struggled to keep up with the reports flooding in from every corner of the globe. World leaders, caught off guard, scrambled to understand what was happening. In Washington, D.C., President Emily Chen received the news in the Oval Office. Her face turned pale as she listened to her advisors. "How is this possible?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. As the day wore on, the truth became clear. This was no natural disaster or terrorist attack. Humanity had been targeted by something beyond their understanding. It was an amateur astronomer in Australia who first spotted the alien ships. Tom Baker had been watching the sky when he noticed strange movements. He alerted authorities, and soon space agencies around the world confirmed the presence of massive vessels in Earth's orbit. The Galactic Council made their first communication 6 hours after the attack. Their message, broadcast on every frequency, was cold and direct. "Humans, you have been judged unworthy. This is but a taste of our power. Submit or face extinction." The response from Earth was immediate and unified. Grief turned to anger, and anger to determination. In an emergency meeting of the United Nations, representatives from every nation gathered. The normally divided assembly spoke with one voice. "We will not submit," declared UN Secretary-General Adebayo Okafor, his words echoing around the world. "Humanity will stand together, and we will have justice for our children." In the days that followed, the world changed. Old rivalries were set aside as nations united against a common enemy. Scientists worked around the clock, studying the alien technology that had been used against Earth. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a physicist in Japan, made a breakthrough in understanding the energy signatures of the alien weapons. "We can fight back," she announced to a team of international researchers. "It won't be easy, but it's possible." Meanwhile, military leaders from around the world met in secret. General Maria Rodrigues of Brazil led the discussions. "We need to pool our resources," she urged. "Every tank, every plane, every soldier. This is a fight for our very existence." As the first week after the attack came to a close, a plan began to take shape. Humanity would not only defend itself but take the fight to the stars. The children of Earth would be avenged. In homes and communities around the world, people came together to support each other. Memorials sprang up in every city, filled with photos of smiling children and handwritten notes of love and loss. John Smith, a father from Canada who lost his daughter, spoke for many when he said, "We won't let their deaths be for nothing. We'll build a world, a universe worthy of their memory." As the sun set on the seventh day, humanity stood at the threshold of a new era. The path ahead was uncertain and fraught with danger. But one thing was clear: the human spirit, tested by unimaginable loss, had not been broken. It had been forged into something stronger, something that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The Galactic Council had made a grave mistake. They thought they were punishing a weak species. Instead, they had awakened a force that would change the cosmos forever. Humanity's revenge was about to begin. In the weeks following the Galactic Council's attack, Earth changed faster than anyone thought possible. The world's leaders, once divided by politics and borders, now worked together with a single goal: to protect humanity and strike back against their cosmic enemies. At the United Nations headquarters in New York, a historic meeting took place. Leaders from every country gathered to form a new world government. They called it the Earth Defense Alliance, EDA. "We can no longer afford to fight among ourselves," said President Chen of the United States. "From this day forward, we are one people, one planet." The vote was unanimous. For the first time in history, Earth spoke with one voice. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the Japanese physicist who had studied the alien weapons, was put in charge of a new global science team. They set up a base in the Swiss Alps, far from prying eyes. "We need to catch up to the aliens' technology," Dr. Tanaka told her team. "And we need to do it fast." Scientists from around the world worked day and night. They studied the energy signatures left by the alien weapons and tried to recreate them. Progress was slow at first, but they didn't give up. One day, a young engineer from India named Raj Patel had a breakthrough. He found a way to create a shield that could block the alien beams. When he demonstrated it to Dr. Tanaka, she hugged him with joy. "This changes everything," she said, tears in her eyes. "Now we can protect ourselves." While the scientists worked on defense, military leaders planned for attack. They met in a secret underground base in the Australian outback. General Maria Rodriguez led the meetings. "We need a space fleet," she told the other generals, "and we need soldiers trained to fight in zero gravity." The world's armies joined forces. Soldiers from Russia trained alongside troops from the United States. Chinese pilots flew with British air forces. Old enemies became comrades, united against a common threat. In shipyards around the world, a new kind of vessel took shape. They called them star destroyers, massive ships designed to travel through space and carry the fight to the enemy. The first star destroyer, named Earth's Vengeance, was launched from a hidden base in the Pacific Ocean. As it rose into the sky, people around the world watched on their screens, hope rising in their hearts. But building a space fleet wasn't enough. They needed a way to find the Galactic Council. That's where Dr. Sarah Johnson, the London teacher who had lost her class in the attack, came in. Sarah had a unique ability. She could sense the aliens' presence, like a compass pointing to the stars. The EDA asked her to join a special team of psychics and telepaths. "I'll do whatever it takes," Sarah said, "for the children we lost, and for the future of humanity." As Earth prepared for war, people found new strength and unity. In cities around the world, community centers were built where people shared resources and supported each other. John Smith, the Canadian father who had lost his daughter, started a global support network for grieving families. "We're all in this together," he told a group in Toronto. "Our love for our children will fuel our fight." Schools changed too. Along with regular subjects, children now learned about space, alien cultures, and how to survive in a hostile universe. They called it the STAR curriculum. A year after the attack, Earth was transformed. The planet buzzed with activity as everyone worked towards the day they would take the fight to the stars. In orbit, the first fleet of star destroyers assembled. On the ground, armies stood ready. In labs, scientists put the finishing touches on weapons that could challenge even the advanced Galactic Council. Humanity had united like never before. They had taken their pain, their anger, and their grief, and turned it into determination. They were no longer just the people of Earth. They were the defenders of humanity, preparing to claim their place among the stars. As the Earth Defense Alliance prepared to launch its first mission into deep space, a message was broadcast to every home on the planet. It was simple, but it captured the spirit of this new, united humanity. "We go to the stars not just for revenge, but for our future. The universe will know that humanity stands together, now and forever. The next chapter of human history was about to begin, and the Galactic Council would soon learn that they had awakened a force beyond their imagination. The day of humanity's first strike against the Galactic Council dawned with a mix of excitement and fear. Earth's newly built fleet of star destroyers, led by the flagship Earth's Vengeance, prepared to leave orbit. Their target, a Galactic Council outpost on a distant moon. Captain Ava Chen, daughter of President Chen, stood on the bridge of Earth's Vengeance. She looked at her crew, a mix of people from all over the world. "Today, we take our first step into the stars," she said. "For Earth, for our children, for humanity." The fleet jumped into hyperspace, using technology reverse-engineered from the alien attack. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, watching from Earth, crossed her fingers. "Come back safe," she whispered. Hours later, the fleet arrived at their destination. The alien outpost loomed before them, a sprawling base on a gray, lifeless moon. Captain Chen gave the order. "All ships, prepare to attack." The element of surprise was on humanity's side. The Galactic Council, arrogant in their superiority, never expected the primitive humans to strike back so soon and so far from Earth. Earth's ships unleashed their new weapons. Beams of energy, similar to those used in the attack on Earth, but refined by human ingenuity, sliced through the outpost's defenses like they were paper. On the ground, human soldiers in advanced spacesuits teleported onto the moon's surface. Among them was Sergeant Mike Okoye, a Nigerian soldier who had lost his little brother in the attack on Earth. "Remember why we're here," Okoye told his team as they charged towards the alien buildings. "Make every shot count." The battle was fierce but short. Human weapons, powered by rage and advanced science, proved devastating against the unprepared aliens. Within hours, the outpost was under human control. Captain Chen walked through the captured base, marveling at the alien technology. "Secure everything," she ordered. "Every bit of information here could help us in the war to come." Back on Earth, news of the victory spread like wildfire. People poured into the streets, cheering and hugging each other. For the first time since the attack, humanity felt hope. In the UN building, now headquarters of the Earth Defense Alliance, President Chen addressed the world. "Today, we have shown the galaxy that humanity will not go quietly into the night," she said, her voice strong. "We have taken our first step towards justice." But not everyone celebrated. John Smith, the Canadian father who had started the support network for grieving families, felt conflicted. "Violence won't bring our children back," he said in an interview. "But if it prevents other parents from feeling this pain, maybe it's necessary." Dr. Sarah Johnson, the teacher turned psychic, felt the ripples of the battle across space. "They're afraid now," she told her team of telepaths. "The Galactic Council never expected us to fight back like this." In the following days, scientists pored over the data and technology captured from the alien outpost. Dr. Tanaka made breakthrough after breakthrough. "Their tech is advanced," she told the EDA Council, "but not unbeatable. We can do this." The Galactic Council was thrown into chaos. Emergency meetings were called as the news spread across their empire. How had the humans, a species they considered barely above animals, managed to strike so far from their home planet? On a distant world, in a room filled with alien leaders, a voice rose above the panic. "We underestimated them," said High Counselor Zix, his multiple eyes blinking rapidly. "This changes everything. We must crush them now, before they grow stronger." As the Galactic Council prepared their response, humanity braced itself. They knew the real war was just beginning. But for the first time, they felt like they had a fighting chance. Captain Chen, back on Earth for a brief ceremony, summed up the feeling of many. "We've shown them what humanity can do," she said, standing tall in her uniform. "And we're just getting started." The stars, once a source of wonder and now a place of fear, had become humanity's new frontier. The next moves in this cosmic chess game would determine the fate not just of Earth, but of the entire galaxy. As night fell on Earth, People looked up at the sky with new eyes. The stars no longer seemed cold and distant. They were battlefields, full of danger and promise, and humanity was ready to fight for its place among them. News of humanity's successful attack spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On countless worlds, alien species who had long suffered under the Galactic Council's rule watched with growing hope and excitement. On the planet Zircon, a race of crystal-like beings called the Luminates gathered in secret. Their leader, a shimmering entity named Prism, spoke in hushed tones. "If the humans can stand up to the Council, why can't we?" Similar meetings happened on worlds everywhere. Species that had been enemies for centuries now found common ground in their desire for freedom from the Council's tyranny. Back on Earth, the Earth Defense Alliance, EDA, was flooded with messages from alien races. Dr. Sarah Johnson, using her psychic abilities, helped translate. "They want to join us," she told the EDA Council, her eyes wide with amazement. "They see us as heroes." President Chen and her advisors debated long into the night. "We can't fight the whole council alone," General Rodriguez argued. "We need allies." The decision was made. Earth would reach out to these potential allies, forming a coalition against the Galactic Council. Captain Ava Chen and her ship, Earth's Vengeance, were chosen for the first diplomatic mission. They set off for Zircon, carrying a message of friendship and rebellion. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council was in chaos. High Counselor Zix struggled to maintain control as reports of uprisings flooded in from every corner of their empire. "How could this happen?" demanded Counselor Blarg, his tentacles waving in agitation. "They're just humans." Zix's reply was grim. "We underestimated them. And now we're paying the price." The Council decided to strike back hard. They sent their most powerful fleet to crush Earth once and for all. But they had a problem. Their ships kept disappearing on the way to the solar system. What they didn't know was that Dr. Yuki Tanaka had developed a new weapon. Using the technology from the captured outpost, she had created a device that could pull ships out of hyperspace. Earth's defenses were stronger than ever. As the Council's plans faltered, more and more alien races joined the human-led rebellion. The Luminates of Zircon pledged their advanced light-based technology. The Gravenor, a species of gentle giants, offered their incredible strength and engineering skills. On the planet Oasis, a water world, the aquatic Merkin debated joining the alliance. Their elder, Deepwave, argued passionately. "For too long, we've hidden in our oceans. It's time to make a splash in galactic politics." The rebellion grew stronger every day. Human diplomats, trained by Dr. Johnson to understand alien cultures, traveled the stars. They shared stories of Earth's fight for freedom, inspiring others to join their cause. John Smith, the grieving father who had once questioned the war, now found a new purpose. He became an ambassador of sorts, sharing his story with alien races. "We fight not just for revenge," he would say, "but for a future where no child, human or alien, will suffer as ours did." Back in the solar system, Earth's defenses were put to the test. A Council battleship, bigger than any they'd faced before, managed to slip through their nets. Sergeant Mike Okoy led the defense, commanding a squadron of Earth's new space fighters. The battle was fierce, lighting up the skies over Earth. In the end, Okoy's clever tactics and the humans' fierce determination won the day. As the Council ship fell from the sky, cheers erupted around the world. It was another victory, another sign that humanity could stand against the greatest power in the galaxy. In the Council chambers, far across the stars, High Counselor Zix watched the reports with growing dread. "We created this problem," he muttered. "When we attacked their children, we created an enemy like none we've ever faced." The galaxy was changing. Old powers were falling, and new alliances were forming. At the center of it all was Earth, a planet that had gone from unknowing victim to the leader of a galactic revolution in less than 2 years. As Captain Chen's ship returned from another successful diplomatic mission, she looked out at the stars. "We're not just fighting for Earth anymore," she realized. We're fighting for everyone who's ever been bullied by the Council. We're fighting for the future of the entire galaxy. The stage was set for the greatest conflict the universe had ever seen, and humanity, once considered primitive and weak, was leading the charge. 5 years had passed since humanity's first strike against the Galactic Council. What began as a mission of revenge had turned into a long, hard-fought war for freedom across the galaxy. Earth's fleet, now joined by ships from a dozen alien races, pushed deeper into Council space. Captain Ava Chen, promoted to Admiral, led the charge. Her flagship, Earth's Vengeance, had become a symbol of hope for oppressed species everywhere. "We've come so far," Ava said to her mixed crew of humans and aliens. "But the hardest battles are still ahead." She was right. The Galactic Council, though weakened, was far from defeated. They still controlled vast regions of space and had technology beyond human understanding. On the jungle world of Verdant, human and alien soldiers fought side by side against Council forces. Sergeant Mike Okoye, now a seasoned veteran, led a team of humans and Luminets in a daring raid on a Council base. "Remember, aim for their power cores," Okoye told his team as they crept through the dense foliage. The Luminets used their light-bending abilities to keep them hidden, while human tech jammed enemy sensors. The battle was fierce. Council troops, desperate and cornered, fought with everything they had. But the rebels, united in their cause, proved stronger. As the Council base fell, cheers echoed through the jungle. Back on Earth, the war effort continued day and night. Dr. Yuki Tanaka and her team worked tirelessly to advance human technology. Their latest creation was a ship that could travel through dimensions, bypassing normal space entirely. "With this, we can strike anywhere in Council territory," Dr. Tanaka explained to the Earth Defense Alliance. "They won't know what hit them." But the war took its toll. Cities across the galaxy lay in ruins. Millions of lives, both human and alien, had been lost. The constant battles and stress of war weighed heavily on everyone. John Smith, once a grieving father, now headed a galactic relief organization. He traveled to worlds devastated by the war, offering help and hope. "We're not just fighting against the Council," he would say. "We're fighting for a better future for everyone." On the water world of Oasis, the Merkin faced a crisis. The Council had poisoned their oceans in retaliation for joining the rebellion. Dr. Sarah Johnson led a team of human and alien scientists racing to save the planet. "We can't let them win like this," Sarah said, her psychic abilities sensing the pain of the dying world. After weeks of hard work, they found a solution. The oceans began to heal, and the Merkin's gratitude strengthened the alliance even more. In the depths of space, massive battles rage. Fleets of ships from both sides clashed in spectacular displays of firepower. The rebels, though outnumbered, fought with a passion that the Council's forces couldn't match. Admiral Chen's strategy was working. World by world, system by system, the Council's grip on the galaxy weakened. But the cost was high. After each battle, fewer ships returned home. On a distant planet, at a secret meeting of the Galactic Council, tempers flared. "We should use the Nova Bomb," shouted one counselor. "Destroy their whole system." High Counselor Zix, older and wearier now, shook his head. "No, we tried to wipe them out once, and look where it got us. There has to be another way." But Zix's power was waning. Hardliners in the Council, afraid of losing everything, began to plot. They would use the Nova Bomb, with or without approval. As the war entered its 6th year, both sides were exhausted. The rebels had liberated half the galaxy, but the other half remained firmly under Council control. Something had to give. In her quarters on Earth's Vengeance, Admiral Chen studied star maps, planning the next campaign. A message from Earth interrupted her work. Dr. Tanaka's face appeared on the screen, excitement in her eyes. "We've done it, Ava," she said. "We've found the Council's homeworld." Chen's heart raced. This could be it. The chance to end the war once and for all. But she knew the council would defend their home with everything they had. As she called her officers for a meeting, Chen looked out at the stars. The final battle was coming. The fate of Earth and the entire galaxy would soon be decided. The long war was nearing its end, but would it be victory or defeat? Only time would tell. The day of the final battle had arrived. Earth's fleet, along with ships from 100 alien worlds, gathered at the edge of the Galactic Council's home system. It was the largest armada ever assembled in the history of the galaxy. Admiral Ava Chen stood on the bridge of Earth's vengeance, her eyes fixed on the swirling colors of the Council's homeworld. "This is it," she said to her crew. "Everything we've fought for comes down to this moment." The plan was daring. While the main fleet engaged the Council's defenses, a small team would sneak onto the planet using Dr. Tanaka's dimension-jumping technology. Their mission: to capture or eliminate the Council leadership and end the war. Sergeant Mike Okoye led the strike team. With him were Dr. Sarah Johnson, whose psychic abilities would be crucial for navigation, and representatives from key allied species: Prism the Luminate, Deepwave the Merkin, and Rockfist the Gravenor. "Remember," Okoye told his team as they prepared to jump, "we're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for every world that suffered under the Council's rule." The battle began with a flash of light as thousands of ships dropped out of hyperspace. The Council's defenses, though formidable, were caught off guard by the sheer size of the rebel fleet. Admiral Chen's voice rang out across the comm systems: "For Earth and for freedom, attack." The space around the Council's world erupted into chaos. Laser beams and plasma bolts crisscrossed the void. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers among the stars. On the planet's surface, High Counselor Zix watched the battle unfold with growing dread. How did it come to this? He wondered aloud. His thoughts were interrupted by alarms blaring throughout the Council chambers. Somehow, enemies had appeared right in the heart of their fortress. Okoye and his team materialized in a flash of light. "Move fast," he shouted. "We don't have much time." The team fought their way through the Council's guards. Each member used their unique abilities to overcome obstacles. Prism blinded enemies with flashes of light. Deepwave created water barriers for protection, and Rockfist's incredible strength smashed through walls. Dr. Johnson's psychic powers guided them through the maze-like building. "The Council chamber is just ahead," she said, her eyes glowing with otherworldly energy. Meanwhile, in space, the battle raged on. Admiral Chen's strategies were working, but the cost was high. Ships on both sides fell by the dozens. On Earth's vengeance, Chen received a desperate message. The Council hardliners had activated the Nova Bomb, planning to destroy their own world and take the rebel fleet with it. "We have to stop that bomb," Chen ordered. "All ships, focus fire on their main weapon platform." As the space battle reached its peak, Okoye's team finally broke into the Council chamber. They found the alien leaders cowering behind their guards. "Surrender now," Okoye demanded, "and we can end this war without any more bloodshed." High Counselor Zix stepped forward, his multiple eyes blinking rapidly. "Perhaps it's time we talked," he began, but a blast from behind cut him off. A group of hardline counselors had appeared, weapons ready. "We'll never surrender to primitives," their leader snarled. What followed was a chaotic battle within the chamber itself. Okoye and his team fought desperately, outnumbered but not outmatched. In space, Admiral Chen's ships finally broke through the Council's defenses. "Target that bomb," she ordered. "Everything we've got." The Nova Bomb platform erupted in a spectacular explosion. Cheers erupted across the rebel fleet, but Chen knew the battle wasn't over yet. Back in the Council chamber, the fight had reached its climax. Dr. Johnson, using her psychic powers, managed to disarm several counselors. Prism and Deepwave worked together, using light and water to confuse and subdue their enemies. In a final, desperate move, the hardline leader lunged at Okoye with a hidden weapon. But Rockfist was faster. The Gravenor's massive fist connected, sending the alien flying across the room. As the dust settled, Okoye stood tall. "It's over," he said, looking at the defeated counselors. "Your reign of terror ends today." High Counselor Zix, who had taken cover during the fight, slowly stood up. "Perhaps," he said wearily, "it's time for a new order in the galaxy." With trembling hands, Zix activated the communication system. His voice echoed across every ship and planet in the system. "This is High Counselor Zix. To all Council forces, stand down. The war is over." As the words sunk in, an eerie silence fell over the battlefield. After years of conflict, after millions of lives lost, it was done. The war was over. Humanity and their allies had won. Admiral Chen let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. "Send word to Earth," she said, her voice thick with emotion. Tell them we did it. We really did it." The long night was over. A new dawn was about to begin for the entire galaxy. In the months following the fall of the Galactic Council, the galaxy buzzed with activity. Ships from 100 worlds traveled back and forth, carrying diplomats, aid workers, and curious civilians eager to see the new order taking shape. On Earth, the streets were filled with celebration. Parades welcomed home the heroes of the war, while memorials honored those who had fallen. The planet that had once been alone in the universe was now at the center of a vast interstellar community. Admiral Ava Chen, hailed as the architect of victory, stood before the United Nations building in New York. It was no longer just the home of Earth's government, but the headquarters of the new Galactic Alliance. "We fought for justice," Chen said to the crowd of humans and aliens gathered before her. "Now we must build a future of peace and cooperation." The formation of the Galactic Alliance wasn't easy. Centuries of mistrust and conflict couldn't be erased overnight. But the shared experience of fighting against the Council had created bonds that crossed the boundaries of species and star systems. Dr. Yuki Tanaka led the effort to share technology among Alliance members. Her dimensional jump drive, which had been key to winning the war, was now being adapted for peaceful uses. "Imagine being able to visit any world in the galaxy for a weekend trip," she said with a smile during a press conference. "The possibilities are endless." On the water world of Oasis, now fully healed thanks to the efforts of Dr. Sarah Johnson and her team, a new galactic university was established. It welcomed students from across the stars, a symbol of the new era of sharing knowledge and culture. Sergeant Mike Okoye, promoted to general, took charge of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force. His experiences fighting alongside aliens made him the perfect choice to lead this diverse group. "Our job now is to protect the peace we fought so hard to win," Okoye told his troops, a mix of humans and aliens from dozens of worlds. The former Council worlds were not forgotten. John Smith, the man who had lost his daughter in the original attack and became a voice for peace, now led efforts to rebuild these planets. "Revenge brought us here," Smith said as he helped distribute aid on a former Council world. "But compassion will keep us together." Not everything was smooth sailing. Old rivalries sometimes flared up, and some species were hesitant to fully trust their former enemies. But each time a crisis arose, the memory of what they had achieved together helped them find a peaceful solution. High Counselor Zix, the last leader of the old Galactic Council, surprised everyone by offering to stand trial for war crimes. His testimony revealed the fears and misunderstandings that had led to the attack on Earth's children years ago. "We saw humans as a threat," Zix admitted in the courtroom. "We never imagined they would become the galaxy's greatest hope." As the years passed, the scars of war began to heal. Trade flourished between worlds that had once been bitter enemies. Cultural exchanges led to new forms of art, music, and literature that blended influences from across the stars. Earth itself was transformed. The technology gained during the war, combined with the knowledge shared by alien allies, solved many of the planet's old problems. Clean energy, advanced medicine, and environmental restoration made Earth a shining example of what cooperation could achieve. One day, 10 years after the final battle, a new ship prepared to launch from Earth. It was the Galactic Explorer, the first of a fleet dedicated not to war, but to pushing the boundaries of known space. Captain Lila Chen, daughter of Admiral Ava Chen, stood on the bridge. Around her, a crew of humans and aliens worked together in perfect harmony. 10 years ago, we fought to survive, Lila said as the ship lifted off. Today, we launch a new adventure, not for revenge, not for conquest, but for the pure joy of exploration. As the Galactic Explorer disappeared into the stars, cheers erupted from the crowd watching below. On countless worlds across the galaxy, beings of all shapes and sizes looked up at their skies with hope and wonder. The galaxy had been forever changed. The species that had once been dismissed as primitive had risen to lead a new age of peace and discovery. And it all began with humanity's unwavering spirit, born from the darkest moment in their history. The children of Earth, whose loss had sparked this incredible journey, were not forgotten. Their memory lived on in every peaceful world, every new discovery, every moment of cooperation between species that had once been enemies. In the end, humanity had not just avenged its children. It had given them the greatest tribute possible, a galaxy united in peace, ready to face the future together.